Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program may contain adult content and is intended for mature audiences only.
Radioactive is sponsored by CrookedRiverRadio.com. Crooked River Radio is an internet radio station that is live 24/7 playing top 40 hits from the 60s through the 80s. You can find us on Live 365, Simple Radio, Roku, Radio Garden, and even Alexa, as well as our website. Come on and join us on the Crooked River.
The story you are about to see is true, however the names were changed to protect the imbeciles.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to Radioactive. Join us as we look at technology and life in the world around us, and have a little fun with it too. I'm Pat Morrow, and
this is Jon Brown.
I'm Erik Nanarrone.
I'm Flora Morrow.
And
I'm Dale Miracle, and this is Radioactive.
good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We are here.
Hey.
Hello, hello. Oh, no, no. Hello, hello. Hello?
Justine and I are here, but we're pulling in her driveway.
Oh, that's how that works. Mm-hmm. You guys out causing trouble again, huh?
No, we had church community group.
Oh, I guess that's all right then.
Say.
So they say. That's right, Eric.
Buenos dias.
Hey, Dale, what's up?
¿Cómo está?
Can't see me. Can't see you.
You could use a little more audio. Can't see who.
Audio?
A little more. You're at about 80% now.
Okay. I'm just speaking quietly. Let me go and check my audio settings.
Well, we'll talk back quietly to you, too.
We can have the ASMR edition of Radioactive.
No, I don't think so.
I can like...
I thought you fixed it the other day, Dale. When you were on... I thought you had fixed the audio the other day.
Yeah, you're
I
not
thought
quite...
I did do, but El Presidente says my audio is not good, so I don't
Yeah, I listened back and I'm like, it didn't sound... It sounded very quiet the whole time you were talking.
And you're sounding
When?
that way now.
Like now?
It could it almost sounds like you're being limited somehow.
Is that better?
Not a whole lot.
No.
Well,
We'll take it that way. I'm not going to worry about it, but
I don't know. Everything is like it was, because nothing got unplugged. Nothing's different than it was last time we used it.
Interesting.
Did Windows decide to run an update?
Windows,
all.
I haven't had that virus on my computer in 5 years.
I get it. Okay.
I'm running Linux.
Oh,
Excuse me.
did Linux run an update on itself then?
No, because when you run Linux, you're in control of your computer, not a billion-dollar company.
Oh, okay.
I control when I do my updates. It
You
tells
control
me
the
there are
vertical.
updates.
You
It tells
control
me
the
that
horizontal.
It tells me when I have updates, and it's up to me if I install them. And if I don't install them for a couple months, it doesn't care. It just tells me I have more.
Remember the outer limits? We control the vertical.
Oh yeah.
We control the horizontal. If we
Is
want
this
the picture.
any better?
And it actually doesn't sound half bad now. You're
Well,
at least
I've
getting up
plucked
there
them- I
audio-wise.
plucked all the magic twangers, so I don't know what else it could be. Because remember, I told you about the amplifier. I told you about the Fed head.
Yeah. But anyway, we got quite a show coming tonight for anybody that's out there. We're going to discuss quite there's been quite a bit happening here. I've got a couple of themes that we're going to follow. And one of them is going to be a conspiracy theme. And it's going to have to do with the latest COVID variant. You guys should get a kind of a kick out of this because you're going to be surprised at how well they're going to blend together. Dale, I did take that, I got that video of yours that you sent me. We're going to use it, but I got something that's going to go with that really well. And it'll get us into what, the conspiracy theory stuff. We'll do that here in a little bit.
I plucked another magic twanger. Does this sound any better?
Yeah, it's, what do you guys think? I don't think it's much louder.
Talk again, Dale.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hello.
Yeah,
hello,
it's about 10% louder, according to the meter.
Yeah.
You're up there with everybody else now.
Well, I turned the suppressed background noise to low in the Zoom settings.
Well, it's probably just your voice. You always have been a little quiet.
Oh, yeah, it's in my nature.
Yeah.
I just want to, for a second, take a second to thank Dale for joining on Monday, as I already did, but on Monday. But thanks again. That was probably the best show we've ever done. Again, as I promoted yesterday on Four Guys on Sports, which I was on. If you get a chance, go back and listen to last Monday's edition of Hashtags in Football. We talked about cryptocurrency, what it is, and the advantages to it. We had my friend Chase, who is very up on the latest trends in crypto and what it how it, like I said, how it works, where it's going, and how you can use it. So listen back to Hashtags in Football from Monday on YouTube or Facebook.
And it'll eventually be on Spreaker. I just haven't had the time to get it there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's headed there.
But yeah.
We have, as I said, we got quite a bit to talk about tonight. Other than the conspiracy stuff, we're gonna do a segment on the things that we found out about the Fire Stick, and I got a clip for that. The last thing that we're probably going to do something with, and that may be towards the end of the show. The Monkees was always one of my favorite groups. Last Train to Clarksville. Just a rock and roll tune like nobody else. And it turns out that Mike Nesmith, who was one of the creators of the Monkees, actually passed away this last weekend. And pretty sad. He's like 76, I think. I got a clip off a kind of a review of that. And it shows part of his last concert, which we'll go into later on tonight. Just a bad, at the age that I'm at, it's kind of hard to hear stuff like that because part of your childhood's going. The Monkees, Last Train to Clarksville, man, that was my tune. And it's like one of the Beatles dying or something like that. Now there's only one left, and that was Dolan, Mickey Dolenz. So pretty much Monkees are toast. Anybody ever had toasted Monkees? But we digress. thing that brought a lot of this up. It's dangerous when 2 or 3 of us have a production show or a production session. And Dale and I have been talking probably 2 or 3 days on this stuff now, getting ideas together for what was going to be here tonight. And it's a little on the dangerous side, but there again, it's going to turn out to be a whopper of a show, I think. Beep beep. Who's beeping? Me?
No.
Or is that Erik? It's probably Erik again. He does that.
Yeah, I'm part robot, you know.
Yeah. I'm still not sure if that's a robot that's buzzing or not.
Yeah. Well. Or I might do electroshock during the show. I might do electroshock treatment during the show.
That's not exactly what I had in mind, but go ahead and believe that.
No, I think I know where you were going with that, but I'm not going to say. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
How was everybody's week?
Not too bad, I guess. We got a lot done this week. Anybody that listens to the station knows that. I went from 0 Christmas music to 402 songs in 2 days. I spent most of the day Friday, because I really didn't have a whole lot to do that day. I spent most of the day sorting through Christmas music. I had a catalog of the stuff, and it really wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And it was all, I had thrown it together the year before. Because I just wanted Christmas music on the station. I didn't care about the meta tags or anything like that. I just threw it on here. Well, as you go along in this business, you learn stuff and learn how important the meta tagging and that is. So you take and go out of your way to try to make it right. Well, in 12 hours on Friday, I did 296 songs. Or 246, something like that. It was over 200. And then once I got done with that, I wasn't satisfied with the amount of music I had. So I started looking at some other stuff. And I found about another 150, 160. Right now, as it sits, we're at 402 on the station. All Christmas music. And it's not exactly the kind of Christmas music you're going to hear on any station on terrestrial radio. I have some rather off-the-wall stuff, if I do say so myself. I have some of the funniest stuff you'll ever hear. And then I have the classic and the traditional stuff, too. So, if you get a chance, what we're going to do after tonight, probably tonight, once I get the playlist put together, we're going to probably switch over to a mix of regular play music and Christmas music both for about a week. And then we'll probably, this time next week, we'll probably be switched over to all Christmas. I still want to add about another 100 tunes. And if I can get that added, we'll switch it all over. The time that these tunes are running right now is about 20 and a half hours. So I got 20 and a half hours of music and it won't repeat. Kind of cool. Anybody that's interested in what we do here, interested in the way we play things and that, it's kind of a neat thing to know that kind of stuff. It took about almost 500 or 400 songs to make 20 hours of music. So yeah, that's one for the records there. Anyway, what are you and your sister up to there, Melanie?
I'm driving home.
Oh.
My driveway now. Justine, she was getting her dogs together and stuff.
Oh, okay. That sounds like fun.
Getting into the parking spot.
I think we're going to do about another 4 minutes, and we'll end up into a bit. I got in the beginning of this conspiracy thing, I got an article on Tokyo Rose. I'll talk about her in a couple minutes. But this is going to be kind of the theme we're going to follow. Anybody that probably is still alive from that era would know who she is. But Tokyo Rose was a radio DJ in the during World War II, and she wasn't for the American side, but she was broadcasting to the American troops to try to make them get tired of what was going on and just take and give up and go home. And it was, this thing had went on pretty much the whole war that when Japan was in it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that even in the Korean War there was some of that used there. So this stuff has been around for a while. And it was, what she was doing was broadcasting propaganda. There was music, but the propaganda side of it was, oh, the Americans really aren't doing that well. And we sunk 5 of their ships, and they didn't even fire a shot back, and that kind of stuff. Now, how is this going to blend in with the other stuff? You're going to see in a little bit, because it has a really apparent tie-in here. And Dale and I and the rest of you will sit here and talk about this. The tie-in as to what was going on back then and what is apparent is happening now is just unreal. But, Dale, you want to get started here, or what do you think? You want to give another 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Up to me? Yeah, let's see what Eric's up to, and then we'll go. What are you doing, Erik?
I'm here. That's about all I can tell you.
How was your day?
Oh, it was fun. The Browns game we'll talk about tomorrow. It was, other than that, still healing from the emergency surgery I had to have. The dental emergency surgery I had.
What was up with that?
A tooth cracked and got super infected.
Ew.
Yeah.
Gotta watch that stuff.
I know.
Abscesses are not fun.
Oh, no, they're not. And, even before, the thing had swelled up even before I had the surgery, like days before. And I'm like, why am I getting swelling from this tooth? So I ended up going to the dentist, and they're like, you need to go see a surgeon as soon as possible. So luckily I was able to see a surgeon.
Well, that's good.
Like an hour and a half after.
Doubling back to the Browns.
Oh.
I'm not going to say a whole lot about them tonight because we're not a sports show tonight. But I've been reading the stuff on Brownstown and stuff like that on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what they say. The simple fact of it is that offense stunk. They stunk it up in the last half of that game. When you take and dong a goalpost like that in one of probably the most important games you've had in the last 2 or 3 years, well, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They're lucky they held on to win like they did, and it was the defense that did that.
Well, it was Denzel Ward. Okay.
Oh no, it wasn't just Ward. There was a sack there that Garrett was in on that knocked him back to the 50-yard line, and then Ward was in on part of it too.
Okay, if Ward didn't make that tackle, there was nobody there to stop him on that fourth down play.
Yeah.
That last fourth down play for them. If Ward didn't make the tackle, he would have gotten the first down. Hi, Justin.
Yep, I kind of think so too. We'll talk about this all tomorrow night.
Yeah, exactly.
It is just a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I don't care what it looked like; we still won." A win is a win, true, but how you win is another story, and that was a dirty win.
And Pittsburgh's falling apart at the seams, which we'll talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, they got slaughtered Thursday night by the Vikings.
Yeah.
Kind of sad, but we won't go there. I don't want to tick my daughter off over there after she just came in.
They came back, though, from a 29-point deficit and still lost. But they came back.
Well, you can say the same thing about they played the same way with Baltimore. Baltimore and Browns. They were down 24-0.
Oh, wow.
And when it ended, it was 22-24.
Yep.
It is what it is. Anyway, let's take and drop that. And I want to go into a little bit of the start of this conspiracy theory thing. I don't know if you heard, Justine, but I have 4 topics tonight. We're going to go into we're going to do something on Tokyo Rose, which is going to be kind of a theme going into what the main topic we're going to have. And that's going to be the Omicron variant and how it could be a conspiracy. We've worked on this, Dale and I've worked on this for a couple of days to put it together. And then after that, we're going to talk about the Fire Stick. And then after that, we're going to talk about Mike Michael, what's his name, from the Beatles, or from the Beatles, where am I at?
The Monkees.
The Monkees, yeah. And his passing. All of it pretty sad. There's only one monkey left. Anyway, let's go into let's do the...
Having Flora's corners tonight?
Yeah, she's got some together.
Okay.
Is Flora going to do her corners tonight?
I don't know. That depends on if there's time.
Oh, there should be.
Hey, Pat, is that going to leave the other monkeys being the monkey in the middle?
Probably. All right, let's fade out of here and go into the first bit, or the first clip. This we picked this up. Tokyo Rose, as I said, was a more or less a DJ for the enemy from World War II. You'll see what exactly went on there. We'll talk about it when we get back. You're listening to the Radioactive Show on Crooked River. We'll be back on the other side.
For American troops stationed in the Pacific during World War II, not much felt like home, but each day they got a little slice of life in the States, courtesy of the popular Japanese radio host they branded Tokyo Rose.
Greetings, everybody. This is your number one enemy.
The show was called The 0 Hour and mixed popular American music with messages from Japanese propagandists, hoping to make their American military audience long for home and abandon the fight.
Well, thank you. That's all for now, enemies, but there'll be more of the same tomorrow night.
When the war ended and American occupation forces began rounding up war criminals and traitors, no prize was greater than finding Tokyo Rose. But despite public opinion, the woman known as Tokyo Rose was not a traitor, but a loyal American. Her name was Iva Toguri, and her segment of the 0 Hour was called Music for You, and was purely entertainment. Iva was born in Los Angeles, California, and raised fully American. In July of 1941, she traveled to Japan to visit a sick relative. As tensions rose between the U.S. and Japan, Iva tried to return home, but her passport application was still delayed at the State Department when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, with the U.S. and Japan at war. Iva Toguri was trapped in Japan. Iva was soon contacted by the Japanese secret police, which ordered her to renounce her American citizenship. She refused. In 1943, she was hired as a typist at Radio Tokyo. At that time, Radio Tokyo had just begun broadcasting 0 Hour, which was produced by a group of Allied POWs and Japanese-American hosts. In November of 1943, Toguri was added as a host, using the moniker Orphan Anne on air. She chose that name because she felt like an orphan in Japan. But our troops called her Tokyo Rose. As host, Iva actually helped the U.S. military. The troops loved her corny narrations and found the popular songs she played entertaining. When the war ended, American occupation authorities began rounding up war criminals and American expatriates for trial. Because she had refused to renounce her citizenship, Iva was still subject to U.S. law throughout her time at Radio Tokyo. That allowed prosecutors to investigate her for treason. Iva was quickly arrested and brought back to the U.S. in 1948. She was then charged with 8 counts of treason and was convicted on 1 count, specifically for mentioning the loss of American ships. No recording of this broadcast exists, and the accusation was never proved. Nevertheless, Iva was sentenced to 10 years in prison and fined $10,000. Iva spent 6 years and 2 months in prison and was paroled in January of 1956. 20 years later, Chicago Tribune reporter Ron Yates picked up on her story and discovered that 2 prosecution witnesses had perjured themselves. Not only that, but they had been forced to do so by U.S. authorities on the threat of being tried for treason themselves. Further investigations and a feature on 60 Minutes brought Tokyo Rose back into the limelight. As word of this miscarriage of justice spread, momentum began to build for a presidential pardon. On January 19, 1977, President Gerald Ford formally and unconditionally pardoned Iva Toguri, restoring her citizenship which had been stripped away upon her conviction. In 2005, the American Veterans Center directors decided her story of perseverance and patriotism was worth remembering. In early 2006, AVC President Jim Roberts honored Toguri with the AVC's Edward J. Herlihy Citizenship Award. An emotional Iva Toguri later said that receiving the award was the most memorable moment in her life. Never before, even with her pardon, had she been so honored. Sadly, she died just 8 months later, on September 26, 2006. Iva Toguri was always a proud and loyal American. She was wrongly convicted by our government and suffered because of that for years. But ultimately, that same government set the record straight. And now history needs to remember her as the patriot she was.
What did you guys think? Interesting?
Yes, very interesting.
Well, that kind of is a pretty good start for what we're about to talk about. As they phrased it in that clip, there was a lot of propaganda, and they had propaganda managers that fed her stuff to put over the air. And you kind of got to wonder if there's something like that going on here with
Dr. Fauci?
Fauci and some of the other people.
Well, I personally think there's a lot of people involved in the propaganda, but I think Fauci is leading the charge in it.
This also brings us down to how much of this stuff could be true and how much of it couldn't be. You know, Yeah, just have to wonder if there is, excuse me here, what all is happening. Dale, what do you got? You wanted to, I take it you got something to add here. I think you're muted.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't know what you actually wanted me to add here, really, because I have that message that I had from the Telegram that I can read, or I can just say some of the stuff that we've already discussed off.
All right, we can use that as a jumping off point if you want to.
Okay. Let me get my phone so I can read it here. Excuse me. Well, this is more from the Telegram group, one of the many groups that I'm in, and I was just touching base with the gentleman that's in South Africa, and let's see, there was one other person that was commenting in the group, because I think there's like I don't know how many are in the group offhand. I'm thinking it's probably, let's see, I'm not gonna waste time doing that, but anyways, I'm thinking maybe a dozen or so. It fluctuates. So I was just curious what was going on, because there is a bit of the time difference. I don't know. I'm thinking they may be an hour ahead of UTC, so it's probably 4 or 5 hours difference. But anyways, I woke up the one day, and he will post stories that he finds, and he'll do like a rebuttal on them, or just from what he sees, because he just wants us to be, more informed than what we have in our own, media in our own country. And so pretty much there is a news story that was talking about the spread of it, and saying that the hospitals are being inundated with new infections and etc. And pretty much we all read the news story, and I did send this to Erik and Pat in Florida. And I believe I think I even may have sent it to Melanie. I can't remember. But in any case, his reply or his commentary was basically, what horseshit. There are not even that many tests per day, or proof that the media is making this up. And then another member of the group says, I can only see that the percentage being the new one has increased, no actual numbers. Rest of the article, I agree, is horseshit. In the South African, precisely. To get even a 1,000% jump would mean double the testing, and nobody is testing. It used to be that there were lines at the test centers. Now there is no one. They sit around and twiddle their thumbs. So where is this actually taking place? And the member of the group, depends. A 100% increase can be from 1 to 2 people, or in the case of the article, 1,000 could be 1 to 10 people, or 1 to 100. So, because like I said, with the time zone difference, I woke up a couple days ago and saw I was going through my messages. I said, how are things going? I wonder when the WHO, World Health Organization, will stop calling out South Africa. He replies, because nothing is happening here. My loose goose is a nurse, and she said that they have a whole 12 people in the hospital, one in high care, and nobody in the ICU, and they currently have no COVID patients. And we both, the other gentleman that was in the group, we both asked what that term is, and it's, even though it's a British-held Commonwealth, they are influenced by Afrikaan, which, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's sort of like African and Dutch, sort of a melting pot of language there. And so they have some euphemisms that just like we would have here in America. And basically what that phrase basically means is it's his better half, his girlfriend. So that's what I have for that. But
all right, let me put something in here to give a little perspective on what you just said. Anybody that's an auto worker in a union somewhere, anything like that, you always see when they take and post results from a contract a contract vote. You'll always see 76% of the 76. It passed by 76%. Now, what they never tell you, and this seems to be applying here, it doesn't tell you how many people voted. Could that be 76% of 12 people? 76% of 100 people? 76% of 1,000? 10,000? Whatever? And what you just said there, that's what I thought of when you said that. They're not, they can say, oh, COVID is up 26%. Well, 26% of how many people? And the other thing that they're actually talking about is in response to COVID or in relation to it, you'll get, the governor supposedly has a thing that says, we want this to be under 50 people in 100,000. But they're never, when they talk about how COVID has risen to 3,750 people or whatever, they never tell you the totals. They never tell you what percent it's up because it's not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't talk, it doesn't equate with what they're trying to tell you. And what you just said there, it just kind of strikes me kind of funny. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a little suspicious that they're calling BS on this, but our government is pushing that, it's coming from them.
Oh, now here comes our favorite Republican in here. I'm waiting to see what he has to say about this.
Oh, I didn't even see that he was in.